So as we talk about the struggle, I want to introduce my next guest, Rachel Akinyi. Rachel is 27 years old, and indeed she struggled with keeping the vow to wait until marriage. And she unfortunately says that at a weak moment in her life, she got in a relationship, and it is when she succumbed, lost her virginity, but now she's on a different walk where she's practicing secondary virginity. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I saw you paying very close attention to what the girls up here are talking about, the struggle.
Yeah.
So having been someone who has literally been on both ends, you came where Rahab was, saying that I want to be a virgin until marriage. You met someone. So probably tell us about that.
I'll trace it back to when I was younger. When I was younger, we had house helps. Everyone has house helps, right? And there are certain house helps who make you have sex with your neighbor kid. At that time, I was in class 1. And so you're a kid, you're forced to have sex, you don't really know what it is. So from that, I overruled that and said I'm a virgin, you know, because I was younger. But in the instance of that, you're still dealing with sexual addiction, because now you've been involved in this, and you're dealing with masturbation because church says if you have sex, you'll go to hell. So you're dealing with masturbation as a way of running away from having sex. My case was my mom passed on, and I think at that point, I kind of lost the virtue of what's churchianity, what's Christianity, who's God, you know. So in that anger, I met someone who probably gave me solace. It was a situationship, not a relationship. I got to understand what situationship was at that time. And did I lose my virginity knowingly? No, I did not. People are naive. I was naive. I realized I had sex after he said, you need to take a pill the next day. I'm not happy I lost it. I'm not. But it happened, you know, and you have to move forward. So moving forward is difficult because now you're in a relationship which you think you're going to be getting married, which of course you didn't get married anyway. But since you think it's going to happen and you've already lost it anyway, so you may as well just lose it over again. And then I don't know what virginity is. Someone needs to explain what virginity is, because videos have it that, oh, when now there's blood, then you've lost your virginity. Then maybe I would say there was blood and that's how I lost my virginity. But it's crazy. What's virginity anyway? I still appreciate the idea of sex before marriage. I wouldn't say it's a sin, because no one is really perfect, but abstinence for me is really important.
Probably listening to you talk, I sense some pain. Well, I sense some pain, and I think really you began your story by saying that as a child, you went through some sexual abuse, whereby somebody who should have protected you took advantage and put you in a situation that you had no business being in as a child. And getting into your adulthood, whereby you are well-meaning, but even the reason why when this man came along, it was easy for you to, you know, say that I didn't know that was sex, because you didn't know that was sex.
I actually didn't know what sex was.
And I kind of feel like there's some trauma that you need to deal with. And I'm going to invite Patricia, because Patricia, you're a counselor. And just listening to you talk, there's a lot of pain, whereby I can tell you value yourself, which is a great place to be.
I feel her pain. You know, the pain of losing a parent is not easy. And she developed a coping mechanism, anger. And she did things out of anger, bitterness. You know, she claims that she was angry at God, which is okay. It's just a way of dealing with pain. But I'm happy she came to her senses. Now she knows. And you know, the good thing about knowing, you know the truth, and the truth will set you free. I'd urge her not to live with regret, because what she didn't know. She did it out of pain, she did it out of anger, but now that she knows, she can move forward with the knowledge that she knows. Don't beat yourself, don't live in regret. Use the knowledge that now you know. You know that you know, and you can move forward with that kind of knowledge. It is okay. We all goof. We all make mistakes at some point, but we get up, dust yourself, and you move forward. You have a wound in your heart that probably you will need some professional help to be able to heal that wound so that you don't do again things from that point of pain. Once you've healed, then you can be able to see clearly. You can be able to move forward clearly without that fear.
I want to introduce my next guest, who is Mary Buri. Mary is 33 years old, and sort of like an icing to the cake of the discussion that we've been having tonight, Mary's story is really the golden ticket. So I'm going to let her share her story with us. Mary, welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you.
So like a lot of our guests here, you chose to be a virgin, and you actually saw it through. Take us through what your experience has been like.
What I would say is that, especially to everyone who is thinking whether it's possible, it is possible. And the struggle is definitely real. But, like you said, there's enough grace to take you through. I remember for me, where I grew up was not really a friendly place. I grew up in Isili. There was a TV show I watched, and the person was encouraging people to be abstinent. So I read a dictionary and understood what abstinence meant. And I thought to myself, this is what I want. But looking at where I was growing up, looking at the influences around me, it did not look possible. Most of the people I went to school with lost their virginity in primary school. Others lost it in high school. Others campus. So it wasn't really supported by how I grew up. So I would say the thing that kept me going was my faith in God, and that I knew that I did not have to do it alone. I could ask for help. And so I asked for help on so many occasions. But as I continued to ask for help, my mind was made up that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. And the reason why I wanted to do it was I had a pact with God. And the agreement was, please bless me with a good marriage, and I promise to meet you at the altar as a virgin. Because I understood, God can do all he can do, but then I can do all I want to do. So that was the balance for me.
So you met a man, and how long were you guys dating before you got married?
So I met my husband in my 4th year of campus. Actually, he picked me from school, but before then I'd dated severally. And we dated for 4 years, and we waited for each other, and we got married, and we had sex for the first time on our wedding night.
So you got married at 26?
Yes, yes.
Today you're 33.
Yes.
And maybe talking to the young girls, what would you say to them, for you as a woman, coming into marriage as a virgin? What are some of the benefits that you have experienced?
Well, I think one of the benefits for me is personal. It's not really something that is explainable. Is that it's because I went into it knowing that I am taking this as a gift to God. So it's my end of the bargain. So I went to the altar, and on that day, I remember when I was wearing my gown, I told God we made it, Number 2, the other benefit was that the day I was making a pact with God, the other promise was that I will give this as a gift to my husband because I had asked you for a good marriage. So this is the one thing that I can take before. So as I gave myself to my husband on that night, I knew I was presenting myself as a gift. The other benefit that I've experienced is that I am confident. And I'm confident because I know something about myself, and I know something about the God that I serve. I know that if you ask for help, he gives it to you. And I've also known something about my own resolute, that if I say I will not do something, then I will not do it. If I say that I will do something, then I will do it. But I need help to get there. And the other thing is that it gives me a platform where I can sit and, share my heart, talk to people, help them see that there is actually a benefit. And the greatest benefit is that, like Patricia said before, my body is sacred, not just to me, it is also sacred to God. And now that I am married, it is sacred to my husband. It is possible.
So Rahab, Daphne, Samson, Audrey, I think really for a lot of you guys, she's the goal. Because she has lived through what your objective is. When you say that you're abstaining, you're walking the talk. It's not just saying it, you're willing to overcome all the pressures. She's the goal. Remember, this is a conversation that we cannot exhaust in this one sitting, but I'm really praying and hoping that we inspired somebody out there, we talked to somebody out there, and the one thing that came out through today was that your body is sacred. And you have to remember that any choice you make, choices have consequences, and sometimes engaging in intercourse is not just about getting pregnant for the girls. There are so many other things you have to be wary about. We live in dangerous times. We live in a time of disease. And I'm really hoping that in this time, you will make the right choice for yourself. And if it's something you're already engaging in, don't feel the pressure to remain in that situation. As you've heard here again, there are other means available to you. You can practice secondary virginity. It's a choice. Bottom line, it's a choice. There's nobody who's far too gone. There's nobody who is a sinner and cannot be redeemed. At the end of the day, it's a choice that you make to value yourself and value your body. Well, on that note, that's it from me, Tamima. I hope that you learned something from today's episode. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Hello, how are you? This is Spontaneous, and this is the Real Talk, and we're going to be talking about celibacy.
Hello and welcome. This is Real Talk with Toby, and today we are talking about celibacy and how the youth are trying to live in the celibacy life.
Welcome. This is Real Talk with you. It's Alex. Today's topic and subject is celibacy and how to go on with it.
Hello, I am Tamima. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the show week after week. I'd like to invite you to be part of the show as a guest to share your inspiring story, or as an audience member to be part of the conversation. All you have to do is reach out to us via the number on your screen.